We should celebrate failures as much as we celebrate successes. I get this all the time in my coaching practice. I have people who are sitting on these amazing ideas for months and sometimes even years and never executing on them because they're so worried about failure. And I know failure sucks, especially if it's a huge failure. You may end up getting set back financially or emotionally or physically. But I got good news. There are ways to do it that you are not putting yourself at risk, and you could actually change your perspective on it. So I want to share with all of you the 3 ways in rethinking failure. So number 1 is to start failing small. Okay. So that here's the thing. That's when you should be able to execute your ideas without having a catastrophic failure. So when I work with entrepreneurs, they have an idea. Say, for example, you have an idea of opening up a coaching practice. I work with a lot of coaches. I'm a coach and I coach other coaches as well. And yes, you could go to school and rack up a $25,000 debt. You can mortgage your house and open up a beautiful office so your clients could come in, and you could put tons and tons of money into advertising. And the reality is the potential of it failing is highly likely, because usually as entrepreneurs, the first idea is not the one that takes off. So instead of soaking in all this money towards something that could potentially fail, and yes, you could do risk mitigation, you could write a business plan, you could do all of these different things, but the potential of failing is highly likely. So the first thing I will get my clients to do, if they wanted to have a coaching practice or any other business, rather, try it at a very small scale. If you want to become a coach, then start coaching people. And you don't need an office. You don't need business cards. You don't need a website. You don't need anything. You need to be able to get people results and deliver a ton of value. And that could be as simple as getting a tea at a coffee shop, or getting coffee at a coffee shop, or doing a phone call with someone who would listen to you, who would actually value your advice and suggestions. You could do something online, and that costs very minimal cost. And then at that point, you can decide if you want to continue on with this or not. And that could be for anything. It could be that you want to open up a restaurant, right? A restaurant is one of the most expensive businesses to open up. There's so much overhead and so much front-loaded cost. But maybe you want to go work in a restaurant to see if you actually like it. And if you want to, maybe you could create a little pop-up shop instead of having something huge. Maybe you want to try a food truck. Also, although the food trucks are also quite expensive, but it's lower risk than opening up a huge restaurant. And then you try, and then that idea might fail. Then you try something else, that idea might fail. And if you keep going on, then eventually something will stick. But you need to build your muscle in being able to deal with failure, because failure is hard. I'm not going to, I have no delusions around that. It hurts when you fail at something, because it shows that you're not doing something right. So failing small and failing quickly is the best way to go in the beginning. Number 2 is to actually celebrate failures. I have a friend that she said when she was a little girl, her dad, every time during the dinner, he would ask the kids. So it's her and I think she has 2 brothers, and he would ask them, okay, so what did you succeed today? What did you succeed in today? And number 2, what did you fail at today? So they had to come up with 1 success and 1 failure every single day. And the reason why her dad did that is because he wanted to celebrate the success, which is very true. It's good to see that you're on the right path, but also at the same time, failure is also important. Failure is an indicator that you are trying. You are doing something that is a little bit risky. You are trying something that you're not 100% sure of or perfected, and you're still going ahead with it. Failure is an act of courage. Is something that takes a lot for someone to do. So building that muscle from such a young age, I thought it was brilliant of her father to do that. It's like, what did you fail at today? And he would celebrate it. He's like, oh, good for you. You celebrate. Okay, you failed at getting into a cheerleading squad. That's good. You tried. You took a risk. And I think that's so important. I think we need to celebrate failure as much as we celebrate success, because that's the only way we're going to learn. And it's also a good indicator knowing that we're on the right path. As much as it's a good indicator for us to celebrate our success, we're on the right path. So is failure. I don't understand why it should be looked at any differently. And the last tip is to look at the failures of other people and celebrate them. Anybody. I think all of us have a tendency of looking at people who are very successful and we celebrate their successes. If you look at someone like Warren Buffett or someone like Elon Musk, we look at them as who they are today, the amazing successes that they are. They are these paragons of brilliance. Those are the people that we want to be like. But if you dig into their past, you will see that they have failed numerous times. And every time they fail, they learn from it and they start it all over again. Fail, start it all over again. Fail, start it all over again. Failed and start over again. And they kept on going over and over and over again. So at this point, I'm going to just quickly recap the 3 things that I covered about rethinking failure. So number 1 is to fail small. Okay, start with a small. If you have a big project in mind, start by doing something at a very small scale. So that way you are not risking everything, because not all failures are created equal. Some failures are catastrophic and it could potentially harm you, your family, your finances, and your entire future. So fail small to begin with. Number 2 is to celebrate your failures. Maybe every single day you ask yourself, what did I fail at today? And celebrate it as a way to tell yourself that I am trying, I am taking risks, this is great. And the third thing is celebrate other people's failures. So instead of always, still look at people's success. That's important. I think that's still very important. It's equal. But look at the people you look up to and celebrate their failures and see how far they have come. And that's always inspiring for me. I love reading failure stories of people that I look up to, because it shows me that I can do it too, that they did not get there easily. And it makes me want to push even further, especially when I experience failures. I experience failures every single day, guys. I do want to let you know that. I like, my first broadcast dropped. That's a failure. This morning I got 3 emails, and on the subject line it said failure, failure, failed. Right? And that's the first thing that I woke up to this morning. And I just chuckle at it. I think it's just fun. I think life would be very boring if everything just worked out perfectly for you. We will never learn anything. So it's good. I like it. I like it. As long as it's not bringing you down and it's bringing you up, that's the important part. Okay, at this point, I'm going to walk over to the chat to see what you guys have got. Okay, so we got Don't Worry About It. Hello. And Julia Lee is in the house. We got Tracy. We got Joe Rotundo. We got H-Top Music. Oh, wow. Bartik Burners. Oh, so nice to see you. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you in the chat. So you do have a question for me. What exactly do you mean by celebrating failure? Okay, this is what I mean. I think we all have such a strong aversion to failure. We want to mitigate risks, and which is true. You should mitigate risk. You don't want to be, like I covered earlier, you want to lose your shirt, you want to lose your house, you don't want to lose your family, you don't want to lose your life over taking gigantic risk. So, but it's great to celebrate small failures. Celebrating small failures in a way for 2 reasons. Number 1 is to tell yourself that, you know what, I am trying. If everything that you did was a complete success, this is my opinion. If everything that you did was a complete success, it means that you tried everything too late, or you're not trying enough, or you're not taking enough risk. And the second thing about celebrating failure is to learn from them, right? Instead of mourning about, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I failed. He's like, I failed. Good. I can learn from this. Otherwise, I can't learn from it at all. I remember the first time I lost a client, I was completely damaged. I'm like, oh my God, I have failed as a coach. I can't believe I failed. And he rejected me. He's gone. I lost him. And so I wrote to him and I said, hey, I'm also trying to grow, and I would love to get some feedback in what could I've done, what could have done to make your experience better. And he wrote me like the sweetest email. It actually did not sound like feedback. It sounded like a testimonial. It was like the most beautiful testimonial I've ever heard. Basically, he made it seem that it was him and it wasn't me. And I was like, I did not like that at all. I know I can't push things out of him, but I didn't like it because how can I learn from that? He basically said that I did everything perfectly, and he was so happy that he met me, and it's really him, and he never wanted to have a coach to begin with, and I just came out of nowhere and he wanted to try it. I can't learn from that. I'm sure there's something that I failed at that he could have told me, but he didn't. So anyways, so I wanted to share that story with you guys because you have to learn from your failure. Anyways, what else do we got? So hopefully that answers your question, Bartik Burners. We got Julia Lee saying it's a kind of a new way of thinking for me to celebrate failures. Yeah. Instead of mourning failures, hey, it's going to happen, right? Failure is inevitable. Anything, I don't even know how many times I fail in a day. I should keep a counter. I don't even know. Probably lots. And I don't look at them as failures. I just look at them as learning experiences or just a matter of life. Yeah, I think things would be a lot different if we started celebrating our failures not more than our success, as equal to our success, because success is still very important. What do we got? Joe Ritondo. It's interesting to think that you wouldn't know what successes are without failure. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just thought about that, right? It's true. It's true. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. It's the same as how would you know if day existed when night was never around? I know now I'm getting weird about all of these things, but it's true. It's a yin and a yang. It's success and failure is a yin and a yang. So why pay so much attention to success and not enough attention to the failure in a good way, right? It's the only way. And we look at, I study success a lot because I'm very interested in finding out what makes people success, what moves the needle for people. And there's so many success books, but there are not enough failure books. And it's so important. Maybe I should write a failure book. That might be a good thing. Yeah. Okay, what else we got? Bartik Burners is saying, thanks for the answer. One thing I notice is that your content is good and helpful, but it's not reaching many people. Oh, good. That's a very good observation, Bartik Burners. The reason why it's not reaching a lot of people is because I have not done enough work to do so. Right? I love doing this. I do these live events all the time because I love spending time with you guys. And I also love spreading my message, but I'm not focused on doing the tags. I'm not focused on doing the thumbnails. As you guys notice, I'm doing this as a live video, and I don't do any editing. I don't do the thumbnail. The reason why, Bartik Burners, the reason why it's not reaching more people, because my content overall is not good enough to reach more people. And it's something that I need to learn from. And that's my failure in itself, right? So there you go. That answers your question. Julia Lee says, I agree with Bartik. Yeah, and it's growing. It's steadily growing slowly. And you guys are always here. And maybe one day I'm going to focus on YouTube, and I will start to really like focus on the tags, focus on the algorithm. I do understand YouTube really well, which is interesting enough. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I was giving him all this feedback about his YouTube channel. And I also have clients who are YouTubers, and I give them feedback on, and they have way bigger channels than mine. They have I have a client who has over 100,000 subscribers, and I give them lots of feedback on their YouTube channel. I know all of the strategies. I'm just not focused on it, right? Because my focus is really to be a coach and really do things there. And then I just don't want to invest the time yet. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. When I start, you guys will see a rise in it. But it all comes down to what you focus on is what actually grows. So right now, my YouTube channel is not something I'm focused on, but what I am focused on is spending time with you guys and spreading my message. And I'm happy. I'm happy that I have you guys. I have 7 people right now watching this video, and I am so grateful for every single one of you. And I don't wish to have 700 because this is great. You know, this at this present moment, this is what's bringing me fulfillment. I'm not concerned about the rest. So that's a very long-winded answer to, for you Bartek burners. And what else? We appreciate your help, Lily. Okay, thank you, Joe. And H-Top Music says, and you don't have any keywords on your videos or your channel. Yeah, I know. I know, H-Top Music, it's so true. I know. I don't have tags. I don't have keywords. I don't. It's because I'm not focused on it. That's the reason. I know what to do. I just don't want to do it. Anyways, guys, I love you guys, and thank you so much for joining me on Coach's Corner on Saturday. We have a question from Don't Worry About It. Are you Cambodian? What are you? Do I look Cambodian? Cambodia is a beautiful country. I would love to go one day. No, I am Chinese. I am Chinese. My ancestors are from China. However, my grandmother was born in India. So my great-grandmother moved to India, and then my grandmother was born in India. My mom was born in India, and I was also born in India. So several generations. So I'm actually Chinese Indian, or Indian Chinese, however you want it, or Indo-Chinese, if you want to call it. And my father is from Nepal. So I spent a lot of my childhood staring at Mount Everest. That's why I have a fascination with mountains. If you guys see my cover photo on YouTube, you see mountains. I love mountains. And I think it goes back to my childhood because I grew up part of my life in the foothills of Mount Everest. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. I don't think you guys know that about me. Thank you. Thank you. Don't worry about it for asking a question like that, because a lot of the folks don't really know that part of my life. Bartek Burners, I am so thankful. Just to let you know, I started taking small steps towards making myself a better person. Oh, that's amazing. And I'm all about small steps. I think we all have to make a decision. We have to decide if this is something that we want to do. And then just take small steps towards it, small steps, because small steps equal to gigantic steps. And also what I have found is in my coaching practice as well is the 24-hour mission. So what it is I work with people and I get them to chunk down their goals into 24-hour missions, which is a small step, because I think when the goal or the action is too huge, people are scared to do it because our brain is trying to protect ourselves. Our nervous system's like, no, you're going to die if you do this. But if you make it small, you could get there much easier. Anyways, guys, I have a coaching session in 7 minutes, so I have to go. I could stay here and talk to you guys all day long, to be honest, but I have to go because I have to go do some coaching. Anyways, have an amazing day, and you know what? I'm going to leave you with this. If you fail at something today, just smile at it and celebrate it, because that's the best way to be. And you'll see that the more you do that, you're going to take bolder steps. You're going to be more courageous, and things are going to really open up for all of you. Anyways, have an amazing day, guys. Thank you so much for joining, all of you, and happy Saturday. I will see you guys tomorrow morning for another episode of Coach's Corner. Bye-bye.